Hey friends, very good evening and thank you for joining in. Could you please confirm if everything is working as expected? Can you see me? Can you hear me clearly? If there are any glitches, first let's fix that and then we'll go into the questions, right? So can you please confirm if everything is all right from your end? From my end, everything looks reasonably good, no issues. Okay, good. Thank you for confirming, gentlemen. Thank you for that. Cool. Let's get started. Looking forward to this session. So the way we'll organize this is as follows. I've written a bunch of key points that I have access to here. Again, these key points have been collected based on lots of questions that we've got from students. And also, as some of you might know, we are conducting regular live sessions, problem solving sessions for all of our course enrolled students. So we have taken all of the most important questions that students ask and we have made a list of them. So first what I'll do is I'll cover each of these key points and we are hoping that it would answer about 70 to 80% of your general questions, right? Then probably I'll take about half an hour, maybe 35-40 minutes maximum to cover all the questions. Then we'll spend ample time to answer all of your questions. Also, some of our mentors and other team members will join the live session and answer some of your questions. Please understand that since it's a public session, it's fairly hard to answer every question, but we'll try our best to answer as many as possible, right? So I see some of the questions getting repeated. I'm getting 40 to 50 marks. I'm feeling demotivated. That's a very popular question we get. We have an answer for that in the standard set of questions. Look, that's what we initially thought we'll do a general Q&A, but then we thought, okay, let's do it like a tips and tricks based on questions that students ask. So I'll go through all of those. We'll wait for one more minute. We'll start at sharp 7 p.m. We'll go through all of the key points that we wanted to cover. Then we'll do general Q&A. Okay, sounds good. The sound is low. Let me check. I'll just check. Again, thanks for that. Let me just check the gain. Okay. Is it better now? I've increased the gain on my microphone. Is it better now? Is it, some of you are feeling that the sound is low. I just keep my audio microphone gain to be low. Is this all right? Audio is fine. Okay, good. Again, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. So Ram Sharma is saying OS live session not happened because, no, we have already done operating systems. No, I think we did it, when did we do it? Yesterday we did operating systems. No, I solved operating systems problems live session. So we did that yesterday for all of our course enrolled students. So as per the plan that we initially gave, we are doing that revision session for course enrolled students. Don't worry about that. In case you missed it, please reach out to us. We'll give you access to that. Okay. Cool. Sounds good. So let's get started. It's sharp 7 p.m. Let me go through a bunch of key points step by step. Again, these are the most popular questions that we have gotten. But before we go there, one small announcement. We have moved all of our courses to something called as applied routes, right? Because the number of courses that we are offering is increasing along with GATE Computer Science. We also have other courses, like we have our very popular AI course, which is called Applied AI course. We have an interview preparation course, and we have almost 5 to 6 new courses that we are planning over the next 12 months. So we thought instead of having one website for each course, it is better to put everything in one place. So going forward, our course will be called GATE Applied course, but it will be at gate.appliedroutes.com. And the naming itself is because we want students, again, foundation stuff, right? Our roots of foundation should be applied in nature. That's where the naming came from. And when we started all of these courses, we always wanted to do courses which are applied in nature, teaching foundational concepts from a very applied perspective. So from now on going forward, you can find all of our courses at appliedroutes.com. We have also announced a 1-year PG diploma in AI and machine learning with the University of Hyderabad. All of those details you can find it at gate. So for the GATE specifically, you can go to gate.appliedroutes.com or you can just go to appliedroutes.com where you have the GATE course along with other courses. Right? We want to put everything in under one umbrella. That's why we are doing it. We're moving everything to Applied Routes. Just FYI. Okay, so let's go through some of the questions, right? So till now, some of you who have taken our tests, we have separated MCQs as a different section, right? But the sample papers were put out by IIT Bombay just a couple of days back, and they're mixing all the questions, right? There is no difference that all MCQs will be in a separate section. We are changing that on our web platform right now. So the way to distinguish MSQs from MCQs is checkboxes versus radio buttons. In checkboxes, you can only tick one of them. In radio buttons, you can tick multiple radio buttons, right? Again, unfortunately, in the sample paper given by IIT Bombay for computer science department, they did not have any MSQs. So we went ahead, read through the question papers of mechanical, electrical, other departments. We saw some MSQs there where we found that the bubbles that you'll have to tick, right, in the actual question paper, they'll either be bubbles like circles or they will be squares. That's what will differentiate MCQs from MSQs. Again, we are making this change on our test platform so that everyone can start taking tests with that model. Okay. So very, very importantly, this is a question that a lot of students have asked. How do I know whether something is MSQ or MCQ? It depends on whether you have a checkbox or a radio button. That's how you differentiate between an MCQ and an MSQ. That's what is given as per the sample paper. In the actual paper itself, again, when you start the paper, you'll be given all the guidelines, right? Please read those guidelines. Spend 2 to 3 minutes just going through the guidelines, especially with special focus on MCQ and MSQ. Because while the sample paper is given by IIT Bombay, we don't know what the exact final paper is, because they have a disclaimer at the top which says that this is just a sample paper. This is not representative of the final paper. Okay. So you have to be slightly careful there. Okay. Please be careful to distinguish between MCQs and MSQs. But from what is given in the sample paper, it will be checkboxes versus radio buttons. But when you go into the examination, please read the initial whatever guidelines that are given. Please read that, especially with focus on MCQ, MSQ, because you don't want to miss that. Again, we don't know how many marks MSQs could be there in the examination. Again, if we have to, our team thought about it a lot. If we have to make a gut feel, if we have to make a guesstimate, right? I think it will be about 15 to 20 marks based on what we see from JAM exam and other examinations. We don't know the number because this is a first year MSQs are there. Nobody knows how they pan out. But one thing we can be sure of, MSQs will determine top rankers this year, 100%, right? I'll come to MSQs again. So please be sure that you know how to differentiate MSQs and MCQs. Most likely it will be checkboxes versus radio buttons, but you should read the whole description that is given at the start of the examination. Second, please revise. We have roughly 65 more days, right? What you should do in these 65 days is this. Whatever you have learned till now, if you don't revise, you will not get a rank. Let's put it that simply. And the best way to revise is revision through practice. Take a subject, solve as many problems as you can. If you're a course enrolled student, you have tons of practice problems. Or if you're not even a course enrolled student, you have access to tons of problems on the web, previous year questions, etc. Solve as many problems as possible. Take a subject, revise that whole subject by solving problems. Wherever you get stuck, again, I'll come to those cases. If you're getting, let's say, only 30 or 40 marks right now in grand tests and mock tests, how do you improve? I'll just come to that in a few minutes. But most importantly, in these next 65 days, at least do 2 revisions, preferably 3 revisions. That's what you should target. I mean, I cannot emphasize this enough. If you don't revise for these next 2 months, you can forget the rank. At least 2 revisions. I would recommend actually 3 revisions. Again, first revision will take more time. Second revision, lesser time. Third revision, lesser time. In each revision, solve practice problems. Make a note of all the mistakes you're getting. Are you making a silly mistake? Do you have a conceptual gap? Or are you not able to solve because you have a logical understanding problem? Right? Add that into your short notes. Revise. That is the key to GATE because the syllabus is so vast. Right? Another suggestion is try to take at least 15 full-length tests. These tests could be grand tests, mock tests from applied GATE course. It could be from other courses. It could just be previous year question papers. Try to do 15 full-length tests because that will get you into that momentum of sitting for 3 hours, solving all the questions that you have, solving everything in that 3-hour window. Right? That's very, 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 very important. Try to solve 15 full-length tests. That's what we would recommend in the next 65 days. Now remember, one other thing that a lot of people do not focus on is the aptitude section. If you want to be in the top rankers, aptitude is simple and very, very scoring. Right? Again, we've added all the new content for aptitude, all the new syllabus of GATE 2021. We've added it in our course videos for all the course enrolled students. But please remember that aptitude is very, very scoring in GATE. Lot of people miss it. Okay, please don't skip it. You could spend just maybe 3 or 4 days on aptitude. Just solve enough number of aptitude problems so that you're very good at it. They're extremely scoring. And if you mess up aptitude, you can forget the top 100 ranks, right? So please don't skip it. Again, when you're revising, right, you can revise in any order of your choice. You can revise in any order. That's perfectly okay. You can go to gate.appliedroots.com, or you can go to our YouTube channel where we have done a video on how to order these subjects. So there is a very popular video called How to Score 55 Plus Marks in GATE, where we tell you which subjects are easier to score marks in based on historical data of GATE, and which subjects have more marks, right? So we have a typical order. You can follow that order, or you can follow any order of your choice. My personal recommendation is first revise those subjects that you have not touched for the longest period. Suppose imagine 2 months back you studied discrete mathematics. It's time to revise now. Okay, maybe 1 month back, let's assume you studied computer networks. You can revise it a little later. So most importantly, revise the subject that you have studied long back and where you are slightly lacking in confidence. Not everybody will be good at every subject. Like when I was preparing for GATE, I was very strong in mathematical subjects like discrete maths, engineering maths, TOC, data structures, algorithms. I was very good at it. My weak points were subjects like compiler design, right? Even though it has a lot of overlap with CD, slightly computer networks, especially when I was taking the exam in 3rd year. So I would focus more on the subjects where I was weak in my revision. This is what we recommend everyone, because you can do 2 to 3 revisions. First revision, focus on topics where you are weaker, or you can focus on topics which you have revised oldest from now. Revision is key, gentlemen. I mean, I can't emphasize this enough. One other strategy that we would recommend is, so when people are taking a full-length test, there are 2 very popular strategies. One, people go everything in 1 pass, or people do 2 passes through the whole paper. So in a 2-pass approach, first you'll go through 1 pass, which means you'll go through each of the questions. All the seemingly easy questions, you'll solve it. Any question that you're not sure of, you'll just highlight it and come back to that question later. Okay, that's called the 2-pass approach. Whether you take 1 pass or 2 pass is a personal choice. Different people have different approaches. Okay, I used to do the 2-pass thing, right? So in first pass, again, we have seen people who get very good marks in mock tests who do just 1 pass. That's perfectly okay, no problem. But you stick to your strategy. In 1 pass, one of the biggest challenges is you could get stuck at one problem. You might end up wasting a lot of time. So our recommendation there is probably you should spend no more than 3 minutes on a single question. If you see a question that you're not able to crack in 3 minutes, probably it's time for you to mark it and come back to that in the second iteration or in the second pass. That's what we would recommend. Right? Again, other people have another strategy, which is in first pass, they solve all 1-mark questions. In second pass, they do 2-mark questions. Whatever is your strategy, pick one and practice that through the 15 full-length tests. So get used to one strategy. Everybody has a different strategy. Okay, my strategy used to be, whether it's 1-mark question or 2-mark question, if I see an easy question that I think I can easily solve, I will solve it. Any question that I'm not confident, I'll make a mark. When we used to write exams, it was paper-based. It was not computer-based. So right now, since it's computer-based, you can mark that question, come back to that question and tackle that question later, right? So that's a 2-pass approach. We see a lot of people doing it. It's a great strategy. Very, very importantly, I can't emphasize this enough. MSQs, typically, from what we have seen in other examinations that IITs and IIScs conduct, let me just check. Everything is looking good, right? Okay, good. No glitches. I just want to make sure that there are no glitches. That's why I'm checking it in between. Okay, cool. So from what we have seen in the JAM examination that IITs conduct for admissions to IITs, they have MSQs. They've had MSQs for a while. If you see those questions, MSQs typically tend to be easier but trickier. Again, we have gone through so many MSQs in many of our interactive live sessions with our students. That is a place where we see most students making most mistakes. Because even if one option is tricky, you can't eliminate anymore, right? Thankfully, there are no negative marks for MSQs, but we believe MSQs will determine the top 300 ranks this time. So while they will be easy, they could be tricky. Again, as we have seen the previous 5 to 6 years of GATE papers, They're not hard. They're getting trickier and trickier. So you have to be more careful with MCQs because you mess it up. Again, don't panic. It's okay. Don't panic. Keep your cool. Give your best. But make sure you're not making silly mistakes. Very, very importantly, as I told you just a while ago, don't waste time on a single question. When you're reading a question, read the question. If you can quickly answer it, quickly answer it. But don't get stuck at one question because that's a very common mistake we see some of our students doing. If you're spending 2 to 3 minutes, done. Don't go beyond 3 minutes. If you're not able to solve, mark it. If you're confident you can solve it, then in the second pass, go ahead. If you're not confident, skip it. It's okay. Because you have 100 marks, right? It's okay to skip a few questions instead of getting negative marks, right? Again, time management is something that you have to be careful about, right? So very, very importantly, again, that's why we are asking you to take these 15 tests. Again, GATE is not a very time stressful exam, but you need to have a strategy and follow that strategy thoroughly. GATE is not like other exams. Like, so there are some government exams conducted for let's say bank exams or for railways, etc. There, the competition is all about speed. GATE is not about speed. GATE is about conceptual clarity. But you need to have a clear time management plan. 1 pass, 2 pass. Again, have some time as a buffer at the end. Okay, whenever you're doing this time management, keep at least 15, if possible 20-25 minutes at the very end as your buffer time so that you can come back to questions where you were not very sure. You can re-tackle those questions. Okay, so keep that buffer time. And when you're practicing full-length tests, your objective should be accuracy. It's not speed. It's not solving all the problems. Whenever you're solving a problem and putting an answer, try to be as accurate as possible. Because we see a lot of people not getting, people who have the caliber to be in the top 100 or top 200 or top 300 ranks, we see them going to 1,000 rank primarily because they have done silly mistakes. Their accuracy rate on the questions that they have attempted is low. Please be very careful. Try to ensure that all the questions you attempted, a good rule of thumb is you should have 90% accuracy amongst them. So in your practice tests, your objective is not to solve all the questions, not to solve the whole 100 marks. Even if you're solving 70 marks, try to have 90% accuracy in that. Because that's a strategy and you can keep increasing that. I'll tell you how to improve that also. Our suggestion here is whenever you're taking a full-length test, okay, so suppose you take a full-length test, okay, suppose let's assume you got only 50 marks, okay. Now the first question you should ask yourself is how many marks did you attempt? Of all the questions that you could not attempt, which means unattempted questions and questions which you got wrong, make a short notebook. Again, this is something that we have even informed earlier on how to make notes. We have a whole session on how to make short notes, detailed notes. We have a whole live session on that. So our recommendation here in the last 60-65 days, while you're taking the full test, look at those questions that you could not answer or that you answered incorrectly. Break them into 3 topics. Have you made silly mistakes? Do you have conceptual gaps? Or is it a logical mistake that you made? Write it into 3 sections. Next time when you take the test, minimize the silly. Make a note of each of the mistakes you have made. Okay, break down everything. If it's a silly mistake, you are to be blamed. If it's a conceptual gap, go back to your notes or go back to your course videos and revise everything. If it's a logical mistake, ask yourself why you did that logical mistake. You know the concept. You have not made a silly mistake. You have made a fundamentally logical mistake. Is it because you have a conceptual gap or because you are in a hurry? Right? So be careful, write down these mistakes. And that is, again, I see a lot of comments from students saying, hey, I got 40 marks, I got 50 marks, how do I improve? Every week, let me tell you this, every week, try to, suppose if you have 40 marks today, every week from now, we have close to 8 weeks, right? Try to do a 10% increase. Go from 40 marks this week, next week, take a few tests, make a note of all the silly mistakes, fill up your conceptual gaps, go to 45 marks. The week after that, go to 50 marks. The week after that, try to push for 55 marks. It is a slow progress. Don't expect that one day you get 45 marks, next day you get 70 marks. That's not going to happen. You have, this is like debugging in programming, right? You got, let's say 40-45 marks. Debug. Say, hey, I'm very strong in data structures algorithms, but I lost so many marks and I could not answer these questions in data structures algorithms. Why? Go back, debug that. Find out whether you have made silly mistakes, whether you have conceptual gaps or logical gaps, or you have made logical mistakes. Go revise that. Next week, when you take a full-length test, try to avoid those mistakes again. That's how, it's an incremental growth. So from 40 marks today, you can easily, if you put in the effort, revision, thorough practice, you can go to the 70 marks. And the moment you reach 70 plus marks, you're in a very, very sweet spot. Okay, because the toppers last year were about mid 80s, right? So 70 plus will get you a very, very good rank. Another very, very common mistake that we see here is people getting worried, tensed, stressed, negative thoughts, feeling defeated. Hey, I want to give up, man. Hey, nahi ho raha yaar mujhse. I'm not going to get a good rank. Hey, just chodo yaar isko. This is not my game. Please stop that defeatist thought now. The last 2.5 months is the key. This is where if you give up, you've wasted all of the effort you've put in now. Give your best. What is the worst case that will happen? You will not get a good gate rank. But all the effort you have put in here, it will help you in the next year gate exam if you plan to take it again. Right? So don't be defeatist. Say, hey, these 65 days are mine. I'm getting rid of all social media. I'm avoiding television. I'm avoiding anything that doesn't add value to my life. I'm going to spend time with my family and friends. I'm going to most importantly stay safe because there is a cold wave across India. Please stay very, very safe. I can't emphasize this enough. Stay safe, stay indoors as much as possible. Of course, spend time with family and friends. But except that, everything else should be gate preparation. If you're going to college, I understand some of you may have exams. I'll come to that point also. Some of you may have project delivery deadlines end of year. I understand all that. I'll come to those couple of points. But most importantly, please stop being defeatist. You should be the other way around. You should say, hey, I'm going to give my full for the next 65 odd days. Let's see what happens. What is the worst that will happen? You'll prepare for one more year. Right? Please don't get worried, tensed. Give your best. Okay, that's very, very important. I can't emphasize this enough. Okay. Another thing is, suppose if you're getting 40 marks right now, but you've prepared for, let's say, 60, 65 marks. Suppose you have not completed all the subjects. That happens to some students. Suppose all the subjects you covered, the total marks you can obtain is, let's say, 65. Okay. Which means you actually prepared for 65 marks, but you only got 40 marks. What happened to those 25 marks? Why did you lose those 25 marks? Or why didn't you answer those 25 marks? Go in that debugging fashion. Debug your own answer sheet and constantly make small progress. Don't expect that today I got 40, next week I will get 70. That's not happening. Today you got 40, next week try for 45. The week after that, try for 50. The week after that, try for 55. Constantly debug. Think of it like a computer program that you're debugging. You're debugging your own approach to solving problems and improving constantly. That's all it is. Again, I know some of you may have had a gap in your preparation because of personal reasons. I hope this is not true, but some of you may have fallen sick because of COVID. Some of you may have college exams. Some of you have office workload, all of that stuff. I understand that. I know some of the students have college exams now. But as soon as that is over, get back on track. Don't waste time. I understand that you have to put in some additional effort there. But as soon as you're back on track, go full throttle. Again, if you get detracked now, if you fall off the track because of your college exams, because you fell sick, because you have an office deadline, you're doomed, unfortunately. Okay. So finish your exams, get back to preparation, put in double effort, triple effort. Because your semester is over, right? Similarly, if you have an office project, talk to your colleagues, talk to your manager, explain them. Try to cater at least 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening for gate now. That's very, very critical, right? Again, every day make a list of tasks that you want to achieve. Like one suggestion that I have for everybody is, every day night before you go to sleep, tell yourself that tomorrow morning, these 2 hours, this is the task that I'll complete. Tomorrow evening, this is the task I'll complete. Write it down on a piece of paper on your phone, or just set a calendar invite on your phone to yourself, or just make a note somewhere clearly. Okay, or put it on your laptop or whatever it is. Okay, tomorrow try to stick to that. At the end of that day, at the end of tomorrow, give a rating to yourself. That's only for you. Tell yourself out of 10, how well have I done today? And if you constantly do this, right, you will improve. Again, these 65 days are extremely critical. I cannot emphasize this. You could start with 2 hours in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, and increase it to 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. Slowly keep increasing it. Because as you come closer to the examination, especially if you're at a workplace and if you have a lot of holidays piled up, if you have a lot of vacation piled up, you could take 1 week off, explain to your manager that, or explain to your colleagues, if there is no huge burden, take 1 week off. Don't quit your jobs. Please don't quit your job for gate preparation, because if you don't get a good rank, you will feel very sorry for yourself. But if you can take 1 week off or 10 days off, do that, right? And again, in many companies which have clients in the US, etc., late December, because of Christmas, Thanksgiving, is going to be slow period. If you can take time off, please do take time off. Okay, and focus. Okay, so I think these were some of the most important questions and topics that we wanted to cover for everybody. One more very important thing: please stay safe. Just like in every other part of the world, because there is a cold wave, you can see this data in the US, Europe, any other country except I think some of the tropical countries, there is a spike in COVID cases. I'm sure this will happen in India also. Of course, south of India is slightly safer because it is warmer, but most of central India and northern India will get cooler and cooler, which means more infections. So you got to be double, triple careful now. You cannot ignore your health, because if you fall sick before the examination, just imagine, right? You're putting so much effort and you're hurting yourself, right? Even right now, if you fall sick, you might lose 1 week, maybe 15 days of your preparation, and you might feel tired after that. So please don't make those silly mistakes. Again, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're doing a silly mistake now. Okay. So these were some of the key points that I wanted to cover. Yeah. So these were some of the key points. Now let's go to the chat window and I'll answer as many questions as possible. Okay. So cool. I'm just trying to go in any order that I see these questions. So, okay. Solving standard book exercises. If you have solved, okay. So my suggestion is this. If you have already solved all the questions that you have, previous year questions, mock tests, grand tests, there are thousands of questions online. Okay. If you have solved all of that, please go to standard exams. Please go there. Okay. If you have time only, right? Because standard textbook exams is not, they're not in the gate format. That's the problem. So, somebody is asking, is the gate test series sufficient? Yes. So we have a good number of questions there. They're a good bunch of questions. First, finish those. If you're a course enrolled student or a test series enrolled student, first please finish that. Then go to the next ones. Okay, because they're already framed in such a way. We have taken questions from, we have done a lot of research on how questions are typically asked in GATE. We have seen a lot of standard textbooks and built all this question bank based on that, right? So you want to first finish this and then go to standard textbooks. Okay. Okay. So let's go here. 1 second. So, okay. So, okay. Somebody says, Abhishek says, I'm getting 60 to 65 in mocks. I'm getting 10 to 15 wrong. Again, first of all, congratulations, you are on the right track. 60 to 65 is a very good number. But getting that 15 wrong is dangerous. Because it could be 15 today in the examination. Imagine if it was 25. You're done. So those 15 marks that you're getting wrong, break them into 3 sections. Silly mistakes, conceptual gaps, logical problem solving mistakes. And 65 you're getting now, right? Next time, decrease that number of wrong from 15 to only 5. See, it's a constant iterative process. It's not something that's like a switch. You turn it off, turn it on. No, that's not how it works. You have to go step by step, folks. Okay. So very good. You're on the right track, but try to push it to 80s, because then you will be in a very, very good state. Even if the examination paper is hard, you could be in the top 50 then. Okay. If you work hard, if you don't make silly mistakes. Okay. So 1 second. 1 second. So Shiva says, I'm planning to take 2022 and 2023. Is there a 2-year course? Yes, please call us on the phone numbers. You can go to gate.appliedroots.com. There are phone numbers there. We have a 2-year course. You can go join that. Okay. How to finish maths in 10 days? Wow. Okay. So 10 days. I don't think you can finish whole of maths in 10 days unless you already know everything, right? So because there is so much content, right? There is whole of engineering mathematics. There is whole of discrete mathematics. Again, if you want to try it in 10 days, this is what I would suggest. We have free notes available at gate.appliedroots.com. Download the free notes. Okay. Try to finish all of the notes for engineering and discrete mathematics in 10 days. That's the fastest thing that I can tell you. Okay. That's the only way I can imagine. Again, if you know all these concepts, then you can do it in 10 days. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. 10 days is a very short duration for whole of engineering and discrete math, right? So, okay. At what time of day one should do revision? My recommendation, Prashanti, for you is, again, this is my personal choice. I like early hours in the morning because there is less disturbance. I've had a good sleep. That's when I do some of the heaviest work that I have to do through the day, right? So that's what I would personally recommend. Again, there could be people who can't wake up early, who can only stay late. That's your choice. But have a dedicated time for revision, and revision through practice is the best way. Okay. So 1 second. So somebody says how to manage final year project with preparation. Ayush, final year project, you can do it after Feb, man. Right? Because you have from Feb to May, right? Come on, if you have done well in GATE, you know the concepts, you can write these things in like 3 months. You can finish the whole final year project in 3 months. So I would say focus on GATE, talk to your instructor or talk to your faculty and say, sir or ma'am, I'm looking at this, please, can I start from Feb 10th? Okay, and most people will accept that. Okay. 1 second. So in a day, my recommendation for everyone is, in a day, try to take 1 test. Taking 2 tests could be very stressful. My recommendation, if you're taking, let's say 1 day, I would say maybe in the morning hours, try to take the test. Do all of your debugging in the second half of the day. Okay, do your thought process. Okay, where did I go wrong? What mistakes did I make? Where did I just get it correct? Okay, so probably 1 test a day is the max. Don't go beyond that. Okay, cool. Oh, there is a flood. Okay, how to revise a complete subject. This is from Preeti Gajdeni. So my suggestion for you, ma'am, is there is a video on our YouTube channel on how to revise efficiently. It's a 2-hour live session. Please check it out, right? Where we describe it in lots of detail. How to make short notes, how to make detailed notes. You can download our detailed notes for free, by the way. Okay. So please do that because there's already a session that we have done. You can just Google search. You can just go to our channel and search. You'll find it. Okay. What should be an ideal 1-day schedule for the next 2 months? This is from Vikas. It's a good question, Vikas. Again, there is nothing ideal because different people have different learning rates and things like that. One idea that I can suggest is morning 2 hours, evening 2 hours. If you can squeeze it to 2.5, that's better. Okay. So preferably morning 2.5 hours, do revision through problem solving or take a mock test or take a grand test. 2.5, 3 hours is sufficient, right? Evening, wherever you have done mistakes, fix all of that. So morning is for problem solving, either practice problems or revision through problem solving, or morning maximum squeeze in 3 hours and do a test. Evenings or afternoons or evenings, do the surgery of that, do a debugging of that, figure out where you made mistakes, or when you're solving problems, what all mistakes you have, what all conceptual gaps you have, revise that at the end of the day. And the reasoning for this is as follows. Morning hours, we are much more fresh in our mind because we just woke up and we had a good night's sleep. So our ability to solve problems is also better, right? Through the day, all the mistakes that you've done, you're thinking at the back of your mind on why I made this mistake, why I made this mistake. By end of day, all those conceptual gaps you'll fill and you'll rest. That will give your mind time to revise this in subconscious mind and get some rest at the end of the day, right? So this is how I will break up, especially if you're a working professional. If you're a student who is not going to college, probably you can squeeze in more than 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours is the minimum we would recommend. If you can squeeze in 8 hours, great. Why not? Okay. I think I'll start full-length mock tests from December 15th. Is it okay? This is from Sohail. Sohail, perfectly all right. Do it, but make sure because you're starting from December 15th, right? Try to do 1 test a day. I would strongly recommend that. Do some 10-15 tests back to back, or maybe do some 6-7 tests, take some days break, revise, fix all the gaps. Again, early Jan, take another 10 to 15 tests. But try to take at least 15 full-length tests so that you are in that momentum. That's very, very important. Okay. Cool. Let me go down. Okay. Oh, there is. Okay. So is December Jan sufficient for taking the test because I was not, because I could not give, okay, but I solved previous year questions. Tanay, if you have solved previous year questions, that's a good start. December Jan, again, please remember that if you have covered at least 80% of the syllabus till now, or even 70% of the syllabus, that's okay in terms of marks. The next most important thing that you should look for is revision. December Jan, 2 months plus maybe 4-5 days here and there, so 65 days. Give your full 65 days to this. This will determine the toppers and not so good ranks. Okay, it's okay. Take full length texts, practice as much as possible, give at least 4 to 5 hours a day, preferably more, right? That's okay. That's okay. You still have time. That's why we are doing this session, because you still have time now. Okay. Okay. So this is from, one second. So Dharmesh says, I've only covered 30% of the syllabus. What to do now? Okay. So my suggestion is this. Every day morning 2 hours, try to cover those subjects which will give you most marks per effort. Okay. So we have a video on our channel, which is how to score 55 plus marks in GATE, right? Follow that video. We give you an order of subjects. We give you order of subjects in such a way that subjects are easiest to score marks in, and they give you most marks per effort. So please go through that video, go in that order. Because you've only covered 30% of syllabus, I'm assuming you can get 30, you've covered 30 marks. Try to cover at least another 40 more marks by going through that video. That video is called How to Score 55 Plus Marks in GATE. Okay, where we give a detailed analysis from all the previous year questions. Okay, try to cover it. So my suggestion is mornings cover these new topics, evenings practice and revise the older subjects that you have already covered. Okay, so that's what you can do. Again, try to do this probably till about Jan 10th or so. From Jan 10th, take mock tests, full length tests, and you could get into that. So even if you have covered 70 to 80% of marks by weightage, topics which will give you 70 to 80% of marks, and if your accuracy rate in these questions is high, you could still be a very good ranker. You could be in the top 300 or maybe top 500 also, right? But you should break your day in such a way. Mornings, you're covering new topics in the order such that those subjects give you most value for money or most marks per time, right? So most ROI, return on investment, basically, of your time and effort. Evenings, revise the older subjects, practice more. Okay, that's what I would recommend for somebody who has done something like 30-40%. Again, this is Shauvik says, how to deal with COA. Again, we have done some public sessions on COA problem solving also. One of the simplest tricks for COA or even operating systems to some extent is this, or even digital logic design, right? All these system subjects, right, is draw diagrams. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're given a question, try to represent this in a diagrammatic fashion. Please do that. Your accuracy of solving improves a lot. Again, you can check out some of the COA problem solving sessions that we have done. They're publicly available, right? That we have done, the public sessions that we have done till a couple of months back. This is something that we focus a lot on. Suppose there is a question about some memory architecture and all that, right? Draw the diagram, because the moment you draw the diagram, you can fill in the gaps. So a lot of people make mistakes because they don't draw the diagram and visualize the problem. This is especially true for subjects like COA, even to some extent operating systems, right? I was just doing the operating systems live session yesterday for all of our course enrolled students. And most of the tricky problems, you can solve it by drawing a diagram, right? I mean, this stuff works for me, for sure. It works for a lot of our mentors. And we have seen a lot of students improve because of that. So please use that as a strategy. Okay. So Anand says, what is the ideal subjects included for 70% of syllabus for rank 100? Is it even possible? If you want to get rank under 100, I think you should prepare 100% of the syllabus. I mean, let's be realistic here, right? Because with 70%, if you're prepared for 70%, your accuracy rate may not be more than 90% in the examination, right? If you have more than 90%, that's phenomenal. But realistically, your accuracy rate, even for people who don't do silly mistakes, who are very careful, is about 90%, which means if you prepare for 70%, you'll get 63 marks. 63 marks, you may not be in the top 100. You might be in the top 300, 500, but not in the top 100. So if you're really looking at top 100 rank, you better prepare 100% of the syllabus. And also focus on subjects that a lot of people ignore, like aptitude. Okay, top 100, you have to be, because again, let's be realistic here. This is what I feel. Okay, this is a hypothesis that I've held for a long time. Again, some of my mentors may not agree with me. If you take the top 500 rankers in GATE, or even take the top 100 rankers, you conduct the GATE exam again, their ranks would get jumbled up to some extent. I mean that's a fairly reasonable statistical test, right? Because in my class of about 30 people at IASC, our last GATE rank was 31 in my batch. When you look at their CGPAs at the end of the master's program, they had no correlation with their gate rank. I've seen people who got gate rank 30 who had one of the highest CGPAs. Right? I've seen people with a very low gate rank, maybe 3, 4, 2, I was 2. My CGPA was not the highest. It was reasonably good, but certainly not the highest. Right? So I mean, at the end of the day, don't think of yourself as top 10 or top 20. If you're in top 100, you'll get most of the institutions that you will get. Okay, or even if you're in top 300, you'll get a good shot at because some of these like even Indian Institute of Science, right? They have programs like AI where they'll have a cutoff of rank. They'll ask people to come to interview and things like that. So don't be too fixated on the first rank or the top 10. Just give your best and prepare as much as possible. Okay, that's what I would recommend. Okay, so Avinish Om says, what should be a good strategy for aptitude? My suggestion is watch the videos, solve the practice problems. That's good enough. Aptitude is one of the easiest topics to score marks in. You can easily score marks, and the aptitude is not very hard. Gate aptitude is significantly easier. Let me give you an example. If you look at gate aptitude questions, right, they're easier than the typical, the average, the medium level gate aptitude questions are easier than the easier questions in CAT. That's why I'm saying it's very, very scoring. Okay, you can easily get those marks in aptitude, and they could be, and if you don't do silly mistakes, again, aptitude can be slightly tricky, but they're not hard. So they're very easy to score. Just a little bit of practice will go a long way. Cool. One second. Kalyan says, if I take a 2-year course, how can I prepare for 2022 and 2023? Kalyan, for all the 2-year courses, right, can you please call us on the phone numbers at gate.appliedroots.com, because then we can understand which year you are in, how long will you prepare, all of that, and guide you accordingly. Here, let's focus on the GATE 2021 exam, please. Okay. So Palash says, sir, I didn't study till date. Can I qualify if I start on December 1st? You can qualify. Qualification is a very easy bar. Even if you study a few subjects, you can easily qualify. Okay, qualifying GATE shouldn't be very hard. Okay, again, please check out that video, which is how to score 55 plus marks in GATE, where we discuss about what subjects you can focus on to easily, qualification you can get, you can even reach 50-55 marks fairly easily with that strategy. Even now, you have 60 days, take those subjects like TOC, which are very scoring. Okay, take subjects like DLD, which are very easy typically, and the syllabus is also small, right? Take C-programming, data structures, algorithms, very, very scoring, good number of marks, right? So we have a detailed analysis of all of that. Please check that video. You can easily qualify. 2 months, you can easily qualify. Don't worry about qualification. Okay. So Mohan says, regarding revision, should it be theoretical with notes or with subject tests? Very good question, Mohan. As I've been telling you from the very start, the best way to revise is through problem solving. Take subject tests, topic tests, multi-subject tests, grand tests. Those are the best ways to revise. Of course, you will make mistakes when you're solving problems. Wherever you make a mistake, if you have a conceptual gap, then go back to your notes. Right? So that's the best strategy. So revision through problem solving is the best. And wherever you're making mistakes, go back to your notes and revise. Right? After you have done everything, then you could just quickly go through all the key stuff in your notes and be done. Okay, so my suggestion is first solve problems. All the mistakes, revise them more rigorously. Places where you have not done a mistake, quickly go through them in your notes. That's it. That's the best way. Cool. 1 second. So here is a 1 second. Here is a question. Okay. Does gap matter if I don't qualify this year, Ashish? As far as GATE is concerned, nobody will ask you how many years gap you have. They really don't care. Okay. But our recommendation always has been, and it will continue to be, avoid career gaps. If you don't qualify or if you don't get a good rank this year, go join a job, because you've already put in some effort till now as part of your college days. If you continue persistently putting in those 3 to 4 hours every day for the next 1 year, next GATE you will crack. So avoid those career gaps because they could hurt you in your jobs. GATE doesn't care. Don't worry about it, right? So Cool. One second. So this is Prakhar. Prakhar says, what if fourth year pass out doesn't get a good rank? No job. What should he or she do? Prakhar, again, same logic. Start looking for jobs and parallelly practice for GATE. Get into a job, because it's not guaranteed that you'll get a good rank next year also, right? You don't want the gap to pile up. Suppose you're a fourth year student and you're preparing for GATE. Suppose you don't get a good rank. Don't think of it right now, but in case you don't get it, first get a job, parallelly prepare for GATE. Okay, that's what we always would recommend. Okay. Okay. Again, Vaibhav is concerned about his placement and GATE. Again, it is these types of worries that will hurt you in the GATE exam. Stop worrying about it. Give your best for the next 65 days, Vaibhav. It's okay. I know your placement may not have gone as well as you wanted. It's okay. That ship has sailed, right? Prepare your best for the next 65 days. Give your best. Uske baad dekh lenge about the placement. Okay. So please give your best. Again, if you're preparing data structures, programming, algorithms, all of these things, right, they'll also help you in your placements later. Because at the end of the day, whichever company you go to, these are the questions they would ask. GATE is a very high bar for a good chunk of companies, not probably top product based companies, but GATE is with GATE knowledge of data structures, algorithms, programming, DBMS, you can crack most companies fairly easily. Okay, cool. So this is Alekyo Banerjee. He says, I have 2 subjects left. What should I do? Alekyo, very simple logic. I don't know which subjects these are, but the logic is very simple. Cover these subjects in the early morning hours. Try to finish these subjects in the next 1 month. In the evening hours, revise all the older subjects that you have already finished and start taking tests. Try to finish these 2 subjects, especially if these 2 subjects are core, wherein you can get marks. Okay, don't ignore these 2 subjects, because it could really hurt you and sting you in the examination. Finish them. See, if these are not very hard subjects, even if they're hard subjects, you can finish them in 1 month. Right? So please do that. Okay, cool. So Prashant says there are few other exams also in December in Jan. How to handle that with GATE? If you're preparing for GATE, you can easily handle any other competitive exam, right? Because the syllabus overlap is significant. I think there was an NIC exam recently, if I'm not wrong, right? It's okay. Most of the syllabus overlap is the same. Continue your preparation for GATE. Again, the reason I'm saying continue your preparation for GATE is the number of roles in some of these institutions like NIC is very few. Give your best, but continue the preparation. Don't lose the track. It could be your semester exams, it could be office project, it could be another competitive exam. Don't lose the track of GATE exam. Okay, even if you're spending, let's say, 1 week on that specific exam, as soon as that exam is over, reset and get back on track. Okay. So this is Yashwant. Yashwant says, got a joining in TCS, how to manage the training and GATE preparation. Yashwant, if you are doing GATE preparation, TCS training should be straightforward. Don't worry about it, right? Again, it shouldn't be very hard, truth be told. I mean, I don't know specifically what you'll be trained on, but typically it will be basic programming and stuff like that. Again, even if you're going for TCS training, like if you think the days will be hectic, put in morning hours. Morning, I'm sure nobody will ask you to come to office before 9 a.m. Wake up at 5 to 8:30, work on this. 8:30, tuck, get ready, have your breakfast, run to work. Right? I'm sure you'll be back from work before 9. Right? 9 to maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours, work there, go to sleep, no distractions. And I'm sure a lot of problem solving skills that you learn, a lot of coding skills that you learn at TCS training will help you in GATE also, right? So there will be some overlap of skills, but you can easily crack GATE with TCS training, especially if you're decently good with programming, data structures, algorithms, which is anyway key to GATE, right? Again, somebody is saying, so Prashanti says IITs versus IIIT Hyderabad. Our recommendation is anybody who is writing GATE exam, also write the examination for IIIT Hyderabad, Indian Statistical Institute, all these good institutions. We have a video that we have done on those institutions also. It is there on our YouTube channel. Please check it out. Again, IIIT Hyderabad is better than some IITs, not all the IITs. Okay, it is surely better than some of the IITs, but the course fee is also on the higher side as compared to other IITs. But the job prospects, the career prospects, even research prospects are very good at IIIT Hyderabad. So we strongly recommend that after the GATE exam is over, take some of these other exams, Again, we have a video on that on our YouTube channel. Take examinations for some PSUs, like DRDO could have a dedicated exam. NIC had an exam recently. Take the entrance exams for IIIT Hyderabad, Indian Statistical Institute. I think BITS also has an exam. Please do all of that. That will be very helpful. Okay. Cool. Again, I think IIIT Bangalore takes via gate exam only. I think IIIT Delhi also. We have done a live session on this. Please check that. IIIT Delhi takes some seats through gate, some seats through their own examination, if I'm not wrong. Okay. This is Shyam Jain says, is it okay to give topic tests in December and mock tests in Jan? That's perfectly okay. But try to finish everything as fast as you can. Okay, that's okay. Do all topic subject tests in December, mock tests completely in Jan. That's perfectly okay. But do it as soon as possible, because you get time to correct your mistakes if you do that. If you delay your tests longer and longer, you will have lesser and lesser time to correct your mistakes. Okay. Again, you can correct your mistakes from topic tests, subject tests also. That's perfectly okay, folks. Okay. 1 second. So there is a question about MSQs. 1 second. Did I miss this? Okay. This is Amit. Amit says, would MSQs being present in GATE 2021 lower the marks range to get into desired institutions? Amit, we don't know that. We don't know how hard the MSQs will be. Again, remember, MSQs don't have negative marking, right? So it's like a trade-off. So we don't know what the cutoffs will be. Again, the cutoffs will depend a lot on the hardness of the question paper. There were years when toppers just got 50 marks. Right? There were years where toppers got like 85, 86 marks, right? So it all depends on the hardness of the question paper. So let's go with the flow. Let's not worry about it now. So Anubha says, what was your position during this phase of preparation? Good question, actually. So when I was preparing for GATE in my third year, because just like now, we could take the GATE examination in the third year, I think I did not at this point of time, because I was in third year, some of the subjects were in final year, like compiler design was in 4-1 for me. Computer networks was in 4-1. So I could not complete these two subjects. All other subjects, I think I more or less completed. I completed all the subjects. Actually, I put in a lot of effort in my GATE third year. My GATE third year, I did a lot of effort. I said, this year, I'm going to crack GATE. So I worked really hard in my GATE third year, but I could not finish these two subjects because I was preparing all on my own, more or less, right? I was just solving previous year questions. I was taking standard textbooks, making my notes. It was all self-preparation, right? Because I was in a city called Visakhapatnam, not much of coaching and no major online stuff at that point of time. So in my third year preparation, I was not well prepared for these two subjects. Even some of the topics in databases and all, like transaction control, etc., I was not very good at them in BTech third year. And that year was 2006, one of the hardest question papers in GATE history. Wow, one hell of a paper. I was like, wow. I went in those days. It was a question mark. It was a question paper for 150 marks. The toppers used to get about 110, 120 ish, right? And I go to the question paper. It was like I was blacked out, right? What is this? I couldn't even solve single mark questions by the time we were halfway through. But then I panicked. I messed up the examination. I panicked. But halfway through the examination, I realized that I have made a lot of silly mistakes. Screw it. This is what at least I told myself. This year, I've messed up the paper. I'm not going to get any rank. At least all the mistakes that I've done, I will correct them. I'll go slow. So halfway through the exam, I realized this is one of the hardest papers. Because I went into the examination saying, I have to do 110 marks at least well. But I'm there and I'm like, I've not even done 40, 50 marks well. Right? And I said, okay, I panicked in between. Then I took 10 deep breaths and I said, this year, forget it. Okay, I've messed up this paper, but at least I will correct all the silly mistakes I've done till now because I knew that I did a lot of silly mistakes. I was having that gut feel that I've done a lot of silly mistakes. So I only focused on subjects that I did well and I revised all my answers. I just finished whatever I can till the last minute and I gave it. And I came back, I told my parents that this year I'm not going to get a rank. I'll prepare one more year. My parents were upset. I was also upset. Ranks come and I got 176. I think 176 or 179. 176. I was like, wow. Then next year I prepared every subject. I was very thorough because I already prepared in my third year, right? All that hard work paid in the fourth year, right? In my fourth year, I was like full thorough, like solve every problem, everything. and that was 2007, the easiest question paper. I went into the question paper, I solved everything I could solve, right? And I gave the question paper before time. I gave the answer sheet before time and I stepped out. So I got good rank. I got rank 2. So again, I've seen both spectrums. I've seen a dead easy question paper. I've seen one of the hardest papers. Okay. So again, my preparation was not perfect when I was in your shoes. A lot of our mentors' preparation was not perfect when they were in your shoes. That's why we can completely correlate with your preparation. It happens. Ye hota hai sabke saath. Okay. This happens with everyone. For those of you who may not know Hindi, right? It's perfectly okay. This is only human. Even the guy who's going to get All India rank 1 or people who are going to be in All India top 50 ranks, they're also panicking now, just like you. And one of you could be that and you're also panicking. I know that. Okay. It is only human. Okay. Just go with the flow. You will get it. Okay. Cool. So somebody saying, how did you prepare aptitude English? We didn't have aptitude in English then. So those were different days. Cool. So how to revise? Again, John Sen. Again, this is something that we have a whole session on. How to revise, how to make notes, all of that. But in short, solve practice problems. Revision through practice is the best way. Gaps, fill them through notes. Notes also, you're not sure, go to the videos. That should be your cycle in a nutshell. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Expected number of MSQs. If we have to pick if you have to make a guesstimate, again, if you have to make a guesstimate, it could be between 15 to 20 marks. But we don't know. Till the time we see the actual question paper, we don't know. Right? Cool. So somebody says, can I get IIT Hyderabad with AAR 300? I think you can. Again, we have one more video on which rank you need to get for which institution and what is the placement at each of these institutions. We go from Indian Institute of Science all the way to all the top universities. Okay, there is a video on our YouTube channel. Please check that. Okay. Cool. Sounds good, folks. I think these were mostly the topics that I wanted to cover. I understand that we could not have covered all the questions that are here. Again, we'll do more of these sessions. We'll do some general sessions like this. Just to put you in that mold of preparation to push you through this next 60-65 days. Again, please understand that since this is a public session, it's impossible. I see a flood of questions. It's impossible for me to answer everything. I just try to pick as randomly as possible and answer them. But all the most popular questions, we covered them at the start. Any question we could not answer here, but you want some clarification, please email us at So please go to gate.appliedroots.com. You will have our email address there, our phone numbers. Please reach out there and we'll help you as best as we can. Okay, sounds good. Okay, folks, thank you very much. And please stay safe. I cannot emphasize this enough. And lage raho. Okay, as they say in Hindi, right? Stick to it. Okay, I think that the translation to lage raho is stick to it, right? Stick to it, or as Nike logo says, just do it. These 65 days are your time. Please don't mess it up. You will regret it. Okay. For all those people who are Hindi speaking, lage raho, just go full throttle for the next 65 days. Those of you who do not understand Hindi, just do it for the next 65 days, or just stick to the plan. Okay. See you, folks. Thank you very much. Sounds very good. Again, we'll do a general Q&A session for all of our course enrolled students sometime next week, along with the general problem solving sessions. I think the next topic is computer networks, if I'm not wrong, next Friday, but we'll do a general session for them also. Sounds good. Thank you, folks. Bye-bye. See you.